Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Belize going to the International Court of Justice to settle a decades-long territorial dispute with Guatemala. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, May 9. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Belizeans have voted in favor of taking the country's long-standing border dispute with Guatemala to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. Preliminary results published Thursday showed that 55.4% of voters in Wednesday's historic referendum said yes to the move. There was a 67% voter turnout. The vote was held just over a year after a similar referendum in Guatemala. Citizens there voted in April 2018 by an overwhelming majority to have the ICJ rule on the dispute. Guatemala continues to claim about 11,000 square kilometers of Belize, about half of its territory. The result of Wednesday's referendum was a victory for the ruling United Democratic Party, the UDP, of Prime Minister Dean Barrow, who believes the court will settle the issue once and for all. At a press conference on Thursday, he said that while the opposition People's United Party, the POP, campaigned for a no vote, the two sides must go united to the ICJ for a favorable outcome for the country.
It is Belize that is now to go to the ICJ. It is not the UDP. It is not the POP. It is Belize. It is critical that as we go to the ICJ, we've explained that it is a fairly long, perhaps a little bit slightly complicated process. We need to be on our P's and Q's and be sure from day one that we make no mistakes.
Although disappointed with the outcome of the referendum, opposition leader John Briceño said the PUP respects the will of the Belizean people. In a video statement released on Thursday, he said the party very much wanted to see the territorial dispute resolved.
Respect for each other's differences should never get in the way of national unity. The collective wisdom of the people is that the time has come for us to settle this unfounded claim. As we work towards the next steps in this process, let us continue to live side by side peacefully and in the spirit of cooperation and friendship with the people of Guatemala. Let us continue our efforts through the confidence-building measures to deepen our relations with our neighbor. We reiterate our commitment to a truly bipartisan national team working together in mutual respect to bring an end to the dispute with Guatemala.
Meantime, the Guatemala government and the United States on Thursday congratulated Belize on the outcome of the referendum. In a statement, Guatemala's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it will immediately initiate contact with the Belizean Ministry of Foreign Affairs to agree on a way forward. And Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere Affairs in the U.S. State Department, Kimberly Brea, said in a message on Twitter that the referendum demonstrated democratic action that benefits the people of both countries. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown has confirmed that he has submitted a proposal to his Barbados counterpart, Prime Minister Mia Mottley, indicating his government's interest in purchasing the shares that the country has in Liat. Now, Brown says the proposal was submitted on Tuesday and the government is anticipating a favorable response. But there has been no response yet from Barbados, which is Liat's largest shareholder government. The Antigua and Barbuda move follows a recent meeting of LIAT's shareholder governments where it was agreed that a proposal from Prime Minister Brown regarding the future of the airline would be examined. Brown presented the proposal, which involves, among other things, a way to finance keeping the 3 planes owned by the Caribbean Development Bank. Guyana's opposition leader Barak Jagdeo has asked the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, to issue an order forcing the government to hold general elections in the shortest possible time if the court finds that the no-confidence motion against the ruling coalition was last December was validly passed. Now, Jagdeo made the submission through his lawyer, senior counsel Douglas Mendez, on Thursday as the court began 2 days of hearing on matters related to the no-confidence motion. Mendez asked the court to be stingy with the time within which general elections be held because the 3-month period prescribed by the Constitution after the passage of a no-confidence motion had already passed and the government was on borrowed time. Guyana's Court of Appeal had previously ruled that the motion was invalid, overturning a High Court decision and triggering the CCJ appeal. Now, during Thursday's hearing, the preparedness of the Guyana Election Commission, GECOM, to hold the polls also came under scrutiny. The attorney for GECOM, Senior Counsel Stanley Marcus, was grilled by the judges about why the commission would not be ready to host elections within 3 months after a no-confidence motion. Marcus reminded the court that the Guyana Constitution caters for a period of longer than 3 months, but that would have to be decided by the National Assembly. But CCJ President Justice Adrian Saunders questioned whether GECOM should not always be ready, taking into consideration that a no-confidence motion could be brought at any time. In Trinidad and Tobago now, a former CCJ judge has been appointed to investigate a contract for immigration kiosks at the Piarco and A&R Robinson airports that will cost taxpayers $43 million over 7 years. Minister of National Security and Communications Stuart Young told Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing that Senior Counsel Roston Nelson should submit a report on the probe to Cabinet within 2 months. Now, the contract under investigation is between Novo Technology Incorporation Limited and the Airports Authority of Trinidad and Tobago for the provision of kiosks that allows passengers to scan their passports and reduce the time spent in immigration lines. The contract was signed in December 2017 and a supplemental contract signed in March 2018. But Minister Young said both were signed without the Cabinet being aware of them. He said a Cabinet subcommittee appointed to look into the matter found that the award of the contract did not appear to have followed the usual tendering process. Now, Young also told reporters that the terms of the contract were also of major concern.
Regardless of the number of passengers that pass through Piarco on a monthly basis, the airport authority entered into a contract that binds them to a minimum, a floor of 100,000 passengers a month at a price of $5.10 US per passenger. So if 60,000 passengers come through Piarco on a monthly basis and utilize the machine, it is irrelevant. If none utilize the machine, it is irrelevant. The terms of the contract state that the minimum payment to be made to Novo Technology Incorporation Limited on a monthly basis is $510,000 US. We have serious concerns with the expenditure of this sum of money, the taxpayers' money.
Minister Young said the Airports Authority did not have anything in place to cover the payments, and he said the Ministry of Works and Transport only learned of the contract when the authority approached it for assistance in making the payments. Still in Trinidad and Tobago, 13 men are in police custody in connection with an alleged plot to murder a state witness as he left court on Wednesday. A statement from police said lawmen took up strategic positions in and around the precincts of the court between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. and the diligent work by officers of the Northern Division Special Investigations Unit led to the arrests. The vehicles used by the men, which were parked in the vicinity of the court, were also seized. Still to come, Grenada weighs in its response to a possible Venezuela refugee situation. More news after this.
The world's debt is 184 trillion US dollars. That's about 86,000 US dollars per person. Join Linda Tessar, the Central Bank of Barbados 2019 Distinguished Visiting Fellow for the 6th edition of the Caribbean Economic Forum, as she helps us understand just how in a world of rising debt, we in the Caribbean can stay afloat. Follow this important live broadcast of the 6th Caribbean Economic Forum on social media and on radio and television in Barbados and across the region. Thursday, May 23rd at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. in Jamaica. Visit www.centralbank.org.bb for more information.
Caribbean countries continue to debate how they would handle a potential refugee situation if Venezuelans decided to seek haven on their shores. This as the political unrest in Caracas continues, with the opposition seeking to oust President Nicolas Maduro. In Grenada, one minister says the island is open to Venezuelans, but a criminal attorney doesn't believe it's a good idea. More in this report from GBN News.
Caribbean countries have been divided on their position as it relates to border security and whether or not they should allow Venezuelans to enter. Some 3.4 million Venezuelans are seeking refuge abroad. Local media has been attempting to get government's position on the issue of border security and whether or not Grenada is in a position to welcome refugees. Last week, Health Minister Nicholas Steele said Grenada's borders remain open to Venezuelans fleeing their homes.
If they are Venezuelans that I think would want to ride out their current issues here in Grenada, I think like Trinidad has shown, we are neighborly. There are challenges with that. We are a small developing country, and as such, from a health aspect, there are challenges that we would have to deal with. But our borders are not closed.
However, during Tuesday's media brief, Economic Development Minister Oliver Joseph says government is in the process of discussing border security with the RGPF.
We have not seen any significant signs of Venezuelans trying to enter our border, but we are monitoring it, and we are coming up with a plan. The security forces have a plan of how to deal with it in the event that happens.
The issue has also captured the attention of criminal attorney Anselm Clouden, who says Grenada's economy cannot accommodate any Venezuelans at this time.
Do these guys think of what they say when they make these pronouncements? Grenada doesn't have the capacity to accommodate. Suppose we have an upsurge of refugees coming from Venezuela. What is going to happen to our social structures and facilities and amenities? They're already overworked and strained as they are. Where are we going to house these people?
He says there is no political benefit in allowing refugees in.
Now, staying in Grenada, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is projecting a 3.5% economic growth for the Eastern Caribbean island this year, a slight drop from last year's figure of 4.2%. Now, the forecast follows the latest Article 4 consultation, which concluded on Wednesday. Head of the IMF mission, Bogdan Lisovolik, noted that the construction industry was contributing to economic growth and a reduction in unemployment, but he warned that because that is an unstable sector, the government needs to take steps to ensure the drop in the unemployment rate is not lost when construction activities are no longer robust. The Citizenship by Investment program has also recorded robust inflows that supported the growth. Government data shows that it contributed 80 million EC dollars to the economy in 2018. And Carl Greenidge will continue to play a key role in Guyana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs even after resigning as minister over his dual citizenship. President David Granger said on Wednesday that while all the details have not yet been finalized, Greenidge will be involved in the ministry's handling of Guyana's ongoing border controversy with Venezuela, as well as the country's economic relations. We get more in this report from Newsroom Guyana's Bibi Khatoon.
President David Granger on Wednesday told reporters that the decision was taken after meetings with current Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Karen Cummings and former Minister Carl Greenidge. The head of state said Mr. Greenidge will bear the responsibility for matters surrounding the ongoing border dispute with Venezuela.
I expect that Mr. Greenidge will contribute to the continuity of work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, especially with relation to the territorial controversy with the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. That is ongoing, and he is engaged with the team, and as you know, the case is before the ICJ.
Mr. Greenidge, as foreign minister in March 2018, filed an application asking the International Court of Justice to issue a final binding judgment to settle the boundary between the two countries. The head of state said he also wants to ask the former minister to take up responsibility for certain aspects of international economic relations between Guyana and other countries. He told reporters that he will have another meeting with Minister Cummings and Mr. Greenidge to inform them of his decisions.
There are not two ministries, it's one ministry, and Dr. Cummings is the minister, and the functions and everything else that falls within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will come under the Minister of Foreign Affairs. She is a member of the cabinet, and she has to go to the National Assembly to speak for Guyana's international relations and to defend her ministry.
Greenidge, along with former ministers Joseph Harmon, Dr. Rupert Rupnarine, and Dominic Gaskin, were forced to resign after the court ruled that dual citizens are illegal in the National Assembly. The president has since appointed new ministers to those portfolios. Harmon, who is seeking to renounce his citizenship to the United States, has since been appointed Director General of the Ministry of Presidency and will be sitting at cabinet meetings and reporting on decisions made.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, the West Indies captain hoping for an improved performance when his side takes on Ireland in the ongoing Tri-Nations series. Stay with us. Sport is next.
My family, they were cracks. You know, I think if I'd gone back and had my own accommodations that I'm accustomed to, it would have been a different thing. But when you go back and you say, okay, I'll stay with family and so on, after a while they get tired of you, man. Face reality, you know.
Or you get tired of being, yeah, you get
know,
tired of bunking, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vincentian soca star Kevin Little recently teamed up with Trinidadian music producer Static for a sweet soca track called Close to You. The song was released for Trinidad's 2019 Carnival, and we have the visuals for you tonight. That's right, the video for Close to You makes its television premiere right here, right now.
Cause I can't get enough of you, close to you.
Forward to a big old fish. You haven't done much fishing recently, right?
No.
What's up with this dock?
No, we're in my world. Let's face it, I fish pig farms back in Boston at least 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, maybe I don't. Get it?
Their rods, their reels, my lures. Can't get it, gotta have my lures. Oh, Coach!
Coach muffed it.
Woo! Okay, well, that's a mulligan for Coach, but next fish, I'm sure Coach will catch.
To baritone, soon them a go say he's a queen up on the throne. Bound in them, five stars up on the street, can't stand or defeat. 2030 we still a do it. Every stage show we still a keep. Every big song they a repeat. Them a we are the fire, fire, fire. full of love. The kinds I know, and me say, Jah give me the signs like, whoa, coffee come in like a rapture. And everybody
West Indies cricket captain Jason Holder is hopeful his men will play a much better game when they take on host Ireland on Saturday in the ongoing Tri-Nations series. Another ball was bowled between Ireland and Bangladesh on Thursday as heavy rain covered the Malahide grounds for most of the day. But Holder says, weather permitting, he expects a better showing from his team in the next round.
Yeah, it should be a really good game again. You know, hopefully the weather stays away. Yeah, we had a really good game against Ireland in the first round, and you know, it's getting deeper into the competition now, and basically we want to win this game and then secure a spot into the finals. You know, but we obviously just need to bat well and bowl well, and you know, hopefully we can get the result we're looking for.
Now, the Caribbean side won their opener last Sunday with a dominant 196-run victory in the first game, but were let down by their batting in the second game, leading to an 8-wicket defeat to Bangladesh on Tuesday. Now, looking back at the last two matches, Holder is optimistic his side will buckle down and set up a challenging total for the Irish.
Yeah, well, I thought we batted really well in the first game, and you know, in the second game it was probably a little bit tougher in terms of the pace of the wicket and trying to get, you know, runs flowing. You know, I think we've had a few discussions over the last couple of days just how we can improve if we find ourselves back in that situation again. And it's just a matter for us just to be trying to get 300 plus runs on the board each time we go out there and we bat. You know, having said that, I just think we were just a little bit off the ball in the last game, and this game we're just looking to put a few more things better, and just, you know, hopefully get up to that 300 mark that we're looking for.
Now, the first ball is at 10:45 a.m. in Ireland. That's 5:45 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time, 4:45 in Jamaica. Staying with cricket, West Indies President Ricky Skerritt believes Barbados Cricket Association President Condi Riley will feel embarrassed when he reflects on his media tirade against recent board decisions. In an interview with an Antiguan radio station last month, Riley slammed the board's removal of Englishman Richard Pybus as interim head coach and its change to the entire selection panel ahead of the ICC World Cup in England. Riley, who is also a CWI director, claimed the decisions would destabilize the team because the timing is wrong. But speaking on Barbados' radio talk show Mason and Guests, Skerritt says Riley's behavior was wrong.
Mr. Riley is president of the Barbados Cricket Association, a highly prestigious body with a tremendous history and legacy. And I think when he looks back on it all, I think he'll feel a little embarrassed about what he did.
What do you mean by that, President?
Well, it speaks for itself. I think he erred, and I think he would not have meant to do what he did. And I hope, I hope that in the final analysis he will look back on it and feel a little bit embarrassed about what he did.
Now, regarding the legal action taken by former Chief Selector Courtney Brown as well as Lockhart Sebastian and Eldine Batiste, who are challenging the board's decision, Skerritt said he is unaware of any formal complaint from the former selectors.
We do not, to the best of my knowledge, have a legal claim before the court for anybody who that I am aware of.
Okay.
In this particular matter.
Right.
So are there lawyers writing letters to each other? Of course. I think that is the state of play at the moment.
Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley has hailed former West Indies batsman Seymour Nurse as a true statesman and gentleman on and off the field. In a statement on Thursday, she said that although Nurse made a name for himself, his country and the entire Caribbean in the 1960s as a batsman of immense class on the West Indies cricket team, in more recent times he would have endeared himself to countless young Barbadians through his work as a cricket coach. Now, the Barbadian leader said she was certain that the lessons he imparted while wearing his coach's hat for so many years would have positively impacted countless young minds on and off the field, and no doubt would continue to live on even after his death. Nurse, who played 29 tests between 1960 and 1969, served as a coach and administrator following his playing career and remained a seminal figure in Barbados cricket. He passed away on Monday at the age of 85 after a long battle with illness. Over to football now. 3 of Jamaica's overseas-based footballers are hoping to impress the national coach to get a place in the final squad for this year's CONCACAF Gold Cup. A 25-man team is currently in training and will be pulling out all the stops to stake their claim among the final 11 for the June 15th to July 7th affair.
Week's time, several of these players will know if they'll be a part of the squad going to the Gold Cup. For that to be done, they must impress the coaching staff who will be looking overseas for additional members. One of the names that may have jumped out at you is Tashane Campbell of FC Reno. Campbell is a 23-year-old defender and a former Garvin Maceo student who's receiving his first call-up.
Well, I know I have the ability and the work has put in, so this is the way to show it. It's a great thing right now. Just push me more to play football and represent the country with all my best.
And getting the chance to play for Jamaica would help to restore some pride for the Reno family.
Well, Reno-based overall structure of the team was not pretty much satisfied, so it's all based upon me right now to just lift back the club to where the higher heights, where Westmoreland would want to see us.
Also looking to make a breakthrough is centre-back Casey Reid from Manchester, England, who has a grandfather in Clarendon. Reid, who is currently without a club, was invited after he caught the eye of a Jamaican scout while playing in Hong Kong.
And that's the sports day with us. We'll be right back.
The world's debt is 184 trillion US dollars. That's about 86,000 US dollars per person. Join Linda Tessar, the Central Bank of Barbados 2019 Distinguished Visiting Fellow for the 6th edition of the Caribbean Economic Forum, as she helps us understand just how in a world of rising debt, we in the Caribbean can stay afloat. Follow this important live broadcast of the 6th Caribbean Economic Forum on social media and on radio and television in Barbados and across the region. Thursday, May 23rd at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. in Jamaica. Visit www.centralbank.org.bb for more information.
Again, the major developments of this day: Belize going to the International Court of Justice to settle its territorial dispute with Guatemala after citizens vote for the move in a referendum. And in sport, West Indies captain Jason Holder hoping for an improved performance when his side takes on Ireland in this weekend in the Tri-Nation Series. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, subscribe to CaribNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but for more of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.